Why do African Americans hate the idea of being African so much? I never really understood it. It's like they make it a point to prove that we are nothing like you, we look nothing like you, y'all can never be us, completely different. And it's funny because you are literally one of us, removed through slavery. That's it.
Every Black American descendant of chattel slavery pre-1865 is the descendant of a biracial Black American. That changes an ethnic group. It creates its own ethnic group. Why is it that Africans are specifically obsessed with making Black Americans African and not other Black people a part of the diaspora? Like Jamaicans, Caribbeans. And Black Americans have literally the longest removal from the continent of Africa than any of the other members of the African diaspora. Black Americans, descendants of chattel slavery, are not just Africans that just stayed African, but just in a different country for 400 years. No, we are the product of 400 years of brutalization of our African foremothers and racial admixture, and we contain the DNA of various Europeans and the indigenous. And I don't know why you keep equating being African to having dark skin when there are other parts of the equation. Especially when you're looking at this through the lens of race, and race is a social concept based on shared culture, lineage, and historical contextualization, along with other cultural distinctions. 400 years of racial admixture, brutalization, and survival of a caste system in which we didn't even know how to speak the language, so we created our own. That's why you can tell the difference between a person, for instance, who is as dark as Wesley Snipes or as light as Rashida Jones and still recognize them clearly as Black American in a way that is very distinct or different from someone who may have more recent African ancestry. I really do think you all are like conflating Black Americans with, for instance, like Black Brits who are only like first or second generation removed from the continent of Africa. Africans are able to claim both their African Black identity and their very specific countries in which they come from. So Nigeria or, Cameroon, and, put their flags all in their... Black Americans have had everything stripped and stolen from us. And when we decide to choose the way in which we are referred or how we are to be perceived, after 400 years of things being stolen and for us to be considered property of another person, I'll be damned if I have an African, regardless of how resemblance we may be, tell me that you own how I decide to classify myself as. And I love my African family members. Like literally, my second cousins, our grandparents or brothers are half African and half Black American, and they know the distinction. We're all Black, but there are differences that just inherently separates us. Black Americans and Africans have different temperament styles. And if you continue to just look at our hair and our skin color and various other phenotypical presentation types and you disregard other facets of racial admixture and genetic wiring and cultural standing, and because race A just is literally a social concept, we tend to be socialized and culturally appreciated or understood through the lens of the Negro, the American Negro, the Black American Negro. And every time you want to classify Black Americans, again, we are Black Americans, we're done with African American. And by referring to us as African American or saying that Black Americans don't want to identify with African or whatever, which we don't because we're not, you are contributing to the erasure of the trauma of slavery. That truly is the reason why we are who we are, why we have resiliency in ways that other Africans do not. The trauma of slavery affected our DNA. And yes, because our Black foremothers, who were widely the reason why we have our African DNA, contain the X chromosome. Your X chromosome determines your X traits, your physical presentation. And as you said in your video, there's such a diverse look in Nigeria, and most of our Black ancestors were originated from Nigeria. They were stolen from East and Central Africa. That, coupled with years of racial admixture with various white men from various parts of Europe and members of the American indigenous community, is going to create a very distinct look.
I don't think I'm African American. I'm a Black American. There has to be a difference between that. Man with that accent.
Talk that talk then.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have totally different ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I had to put it to my roommate like this, because my roommate was born in Nigeria or something like that. So I had to tell him straight up, you think you Black, but if they started giving Black people reparations, do you think you would get a check? We had a different experience from our ancestors all the way to now. That's why you're not black and I'm not African, because you wouldn't get a reparations check, but I would. You know?
Stop trying to Africanize my people. Stop trying to Africanize my people. We are not African. We are not descendants of African.
Are those dreadlocks? Are you saying this with dreadlocks? Bomboclat. Bomboclat.
We are not African. We are not descendants of African.
Prove it. Prove it. Take a test. Show us how un-African, how not African, how in-African you are. Prove it.
I don't care about your DNA test. That don't mean shit to me. We is not African over here.
We are African, and we happen to be in America. We're not American. We are people who formerly were Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America.
I thought you guys were only scared of IQ tests. I thought y'all were only scared of IQ tests. Scared of DNA tests too?
The problem with you guys is there's those of us who have traced our genealogy. We are from North America through and through.
The problem with you guys is, for some reason, you think the cops give a fuck. ICE don't care. Why didn't you tell ICE you're not African? Because all they see when they look at you and I, another Negro. I see what they are doing to you in Chicago right now. ICE officers dragging you up and down. Go tell them you are foundational Black American. See if they give a fuck. Where are they even gonna send you guys? The ones ICE is capturing. Where do you think they will send you? China? Where do you think they will send you? Back home. Congo the Bongo. Jet.
I love it when Black Americans have every answer and they are giving it to you face to face. Is it by force to identify as African America? Is it by force? And who told you guys that there were not Black people in America, building America, even before colonization, Columbus, East, West, North, and South, even before slavery started? So why is it that every single person that is Black in America, Africans want that person to identify as African America? Like, what's so special of being Africa? I just want to know, because as at this point, I'm confused. I'm confused. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying, let's dive right into this video. I'll be back with commentaries.
There's always been a big question, were Black people robbed of their culture, or did they preserve their authentic African culture? And what Soul is saying is that they were robbed of their culture, and so they picked up the culture of the people around them, and the people around them were rednecks. And if you look at the white redneck culture and the Black redneck culture, they have a lot of the same values. They don't particularly respect education. They love Jesus. They use violence in their conflicts. And even Ebonics, which is, Black English, is actually all from the west of England.
What?
It's from the west of England. So, for example, if you go to places like Cornwall, they would always say, Devon knows how they make it so creamy. And they all talk like this, right? And so it doesn't sound like Black English. But they do say things like, I be doing that, and we be doing this, and they be doing that. And so there's that use of that copula be, where instead of saying I am, you are, he is, she is, they are, they just say I be, you be, we be, they be, which is the classic feature of Black English, African American vernacular English.
Now, people go get mad at this white guy for saying this. And you know why? Because people don't know who Thomas Sowell is. Thomas Sowell is a Black man who wrote a book called Black Rednecks and White Liberals. And in his book, he explained this whole theology of how Black people were robbed of their culture. It's just a simple fact. I mean, they came from Africa. They were taken apart from their families. They didn't have a common language. They lost all of the culture over generations. And what did they adopt? That's why I always argue it's not Black culture. It's degenerate culture that Black people have adopted. The same with white, the same with whoever adopt this culture is going to find themselves in a very similar situation in America and across the world. It's that simple.
Africans, stop calling Black Americans African Americans. They do not like it. They said it's racist. Call them Black Americans. They don't like being called African American. They don't like it at all. They don't want anything associated with Africans. So call them African American. Okay? Be respectful to them. Respect their decision. They don't like being called African American. America is their roots. America is their identity. So be respectful.
Jesse Jackson said that African Americans should be how you refer to Black Americans in 1989, and then people just ran with it. I never understood the term African American. I'm not African. I've been in the United States for a very long time. Born here, obviously, but my ancestors been here for a long time, since the 1600s in Virginia, so there's no African American. Okay, we're Black American. That's just what it is. So some may use that term, but I don't use that term. So I'm not really into squabbling over who could use it or not. I just say Black American. Whatever you want to call yourself is your thing. If you identify as a dinosaur, a pet gerbil, a jackrabbit, whatever, it's fine. I don't really care, but I'm going to call myself Black American. And I think the majority of us would say the same thing. We're Black, not African. Shout out to my Africans, who I love y'all, but we're just not y'all. Just like if you have a white person who's been here since the Nina and the Pinks and the Santa Maria talking about they got family back in the old country. What old country? You talking about Arkansas, Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama? What old country you talking about? Ain't no old country. You're an American now. You didn't come here in the Ellis Island days. You came here in the year 1775.
Can someone make this make sense for me? How can Africans be angry with the Black Americans who refuse to identify as Africans? People like me who tell you I'm not an African American, so stop calling me that. I don't come from Africa and I'm not an African. We have the Africans getting angry with us because we don't want to identify as Africans. Meanwhile, they're over there on their continent, about 80% of their continent, bleaching their skin so that they can identify as Europeans. So they're angry with the Black Americans because we don't want to be African. Meanwhile, they don't even want to be African.
Everybody hates Black Americans. It doesn't matter what we do, what we don't do. Someone will always have something negative to say about us. We could be minding our own Black business, and people will get offended by our existence. And I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. I love that you all hate us so much because it means there's something special about us. Y'all hate us, but spend so much time trying to imitate us, talk like us, walk like us, or rage bait us into conversations and debates. Like, why? Why do y'all care about what we think? We just minding our Black business. Even people who look like us, who are not from America, hates Black Americans. And honestly, I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. Am I saying every individual hates Black Americans? Absolutely not. But even if everyone did hate us, I wouldn't give a fuck. Shout out to the Black Americans.
most African Americans don't like to be called Africans. I tried to understand this in some of my studies, and I discovered that a lot of African Americans believe that Africa is a zoo. They believe that Africa is a forest. In other words, there are no houses, no roads, and no buildings in Africa. I don't know where they get this information from. But you see, we are all blacks, and there's no need trying to separate an African from an African American. Just because I don't talk like, hey yo, Shawty say what? Hey, where you about to go? Hey, you know what I'm saying? Man, I'm about to yeah, he talking about he gonna give me some. He talking about, yeah, I'm about to smash something really quick, you know what I'm saying? I ain't about to go over there with you, man. You say what? Boy, okay, get out my face, boy. I don't have to talk like that for you to accept me for who I am.
Okay, so I have been contemplating making this video, but I hate this is like my confession, right? I really, really hate being African. Like, I hate where I come from because it's so much that comes with the shit. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my culture. I love like knowing about my roots and things like that. But when it comes to the witchcraft that goes on behind closed doors and the shit that you go through from being African, it's crazy. Okay, if you're confused, I'm gonna give you some examples. So for example, you can, okay, so I'm gonna use my family for example. Me, my mom, my aunt, my cousins, we have a lot of family back home in Benin. And basically, we have a lot of eyes on us because we were the ones who came to America and made a better life. And it's just like we have gotten like witchcraft put on us. Like, we currently dealing with some witchcraft shit. And it's like, African people are so fucking jealous. Like, I swear to God, you can literally just like, let's say you don't speak to an auntie, or you forget to speak to somebody, or you don't speak to them in a manner that they feel like you should speak to them in. They'll put witchcraft on you. Let's say you got a nice job, you got a family, and they don't. Witchcraft. Let's say you literally could be living your life. Let's say you just the prettiest one in the room. Witchcraft. You know? Like, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like, I have 2 kids now, and I don't have time for that. And then the witchcraft that Africans be doing on you be like generational shit. So it'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna put witchcraft on you, but your kids gonna go through it, their kids gonna go through it. It's like, it's so extra. It's so extra. I have another example. So, on my daddy's side, I'm the only child between my mama and my daddy. My dad supposedly has 5, 6, 7 other kids. Who the fuck knows? I can't even get close or get to know my other siblings because basically I don't know if they'll do witchcraft on me. That's a real thing. Like, because I'm the only sister that's in America, I'm the only sister that's in America thriving, I don't know if my own siblings will do witchcraft on me and my kids, you know? It's shit like that that's like, what the fuck? Like, what? I hate it. And at this point, I don't think I want my kids to even know about, my bad, y'all. I don't think I want my kids to even know about their roots and where they really, really come from, because I don't want them to get into, I don't want them to know like the bad that come with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's some things that I wish I didn't know. Like, cause it's insane. I really, really hate it. I really hate it. And it's sad because me and my family going through some shit right now that I don't think, like, if you're not African, you're not going to get where I'm coming from. You're not going to get what I'm talking about. But it's really sad because we didn't do nothing but live our fucking life. And I don't know. That's just how I feel.
That's just how I feel. Talk to me in the comments, but that's just how I feel.
Y'all, the video I made of fear of being African and talking about how Black Americans want to boycott Africa, they are pissed in the comments. They're telling Africans to go back to their country. They're saying that they were never from Africa. Generations of their greats have been in America, etc., etc. And you want to know what the funniest thing is? One, not only do I not care, because that's not the point. Two, no one ever said that you guys, by fire, by force, need to be African, modern day African. That's why I'm like, I no longer am engaging with these people because I understand the intelligence is here and they're way down the road because it's not clicking. It's not. Notice how I even call them Black American in my video for a reason, because I understand and identify that they are not African American. Like, you guys understand that these definitions were given to us and y'all don't even know the definition behind the word. I'm not calling y'all African Americans. I literally call you Black Americans for a reason. And y'all are in the comments running with probably 2 seconds of what I said and saying your whole heart's desires that you've been wanting to tell every African that you've ever met in your life. And it's so funny because we're literally two sides of the same damn coin with the same damn oppressor, but yet you're in my comments being anti-Black, because that's what that is. Black Americans, some of them, not all of them, the very ignorant ones who have a struggle for power against immigrants, sound just like white people, full of hatred, full of narcissism, and unfortunately it's because y'all are from America. You don't believe that Blackness exists outside of this world, and that to me is crazy, knowing that you are the minority in America and you're not even privileged in America or have any power whatsoever. Having media power, having the buying power does not mean that you have the power to make decisions over yourselves. So at the end of the day, I'm just letting you know, if you want to separate yourself and call yourself Black Americans versus Africans, that's fine. But just know that there's always a source. There's always a source, and denying that is just delusional. And at this point, I'd rather you believe your delusions than fight every single one of you to try to give you some knowledge. Even if you are an indigenous Black person, aka your Native American blood was on this soil before slavery happened, my dear, you understand Pangea? Wait, let's bring it back to history class. Do you understand Pangea? Do you understand that the first person was founded by fossil fuel evidence in Ethiopia, my honey? Do you know before the Great Migration from the southern post-slavery to the north was not the first migration to happen, my dear? And then religion plays a big part, because depending on what you believe on is depending on where you believe Adam and Eve first were, and where the Garden of Eve was first made up. Sweetheart, darling. Because then that would mean wherever that was, that's where the migration started into the rest of the world. And the funniest part is the fact that y'all are speaking your colonizers' language. And I say y'all because a lot of them were like, well, what are you speaking? How am I supposed to communicate with you? Ya palawobo? Wa palawobo? I speak Pele. I speak my native language that dates back to pre-colonial time. Pre-colonial meaning before colonialism, meaning before Europeans came in and attacked us. So at the end of the day, it's not about separation. forces that y'all built for.
Why are Africans so obsessed, or Black Americans saying they are not Africans? Why are they so obsessed? Why are they so angry? Why is it that every time they want to bring any video pertaining this, they are so raged? Why? Is it by force to identify with Africans? And like the first clip I actually rolled out in my video said, why are Africans not forcing it on other people? And why is it that when Black Americans say they are not Africans, that is when people have a lot of things to say? Why? I just want to know why. Because every other person is permitted to choose anywhere he or she belongs except Black Americans. Black Americans are the major problems of Africans. Why? For crying out loud, these people has gone through slavery, segregation, Jim Crow, redlining, lynching, out of your own African forefathers' stupidity. Out of your own forefathers' greed and selfishness. And after Black Americans went through all of these things, you want them to gladly clap and identify that, oh, we are African Americans. It is paining you people now because Black Americans said that they don't want to be identified as Africans. They want to be identified as foundational Black Americans. That is where the problem is coming from. That is where the hate is coming from. That is where the issue is coming from. And you know the funniest part is, despite the fact a lot of Africans want Black Americans to identify as, oh, we are African Americans, they don't still love them. They don't still appreciate what they do. They don't still value them. So what is the point of you wanting me to identify so badly with you, and in real sense, you don't like me, you don't vibe with me, you don't do things with me? In fact, at the mention of Black Americans, a lot of Africans will literally choose to hang themselves. So why is this so important? Why is it so special that Black Americans should identify as African American? Like, what's so sweet about being African? An African person? Honestly, I'm saying for a place of pains right now, because I am in Africa. I live here in Nigeria. And I've seen a lot of things that our government is literally using our eyes to see. I've seen a lot of things that was literally not supposed to go north, going north, south, east, west. I've seen a lot of things that classify you as a Black person in Africa annoying. Black Americans have visited different African countries that they have a lot of bad experience. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that there are Black Americans that visited Africa that never had good experience. They are. But out of 100%, 70% of them have bad experience visiting Africa. Either they are looting out of their pockets the moment they hear their accents and they know that, oh, this person is a Black American. That is all. Looting began. What is supposed to be $100, they change it to $120, $150. What is supposed to be $200, they change it to $300 because this person literally did not speak like us. That is when they will not ask you, oh, where are you from? The moment you say you are from America, is over. You will not see that person as, oh, this is actually a Black person like me. Let me just literally just do things that will make my Black brother happy, or all things being equal, do exactly what is how the price is. A Black American has literally come to Africa where you see police harassing him. There was a time a Black American woman cried out, left America to one of the African countries I don't want to mention because I've done that video here. And then she cried out that it is even better for her to go back to America and deal with the racism in America. That is how bad that some of these Black Americans' experience have been. And then for people that have been in America, built American years after years, you don't want them to identify as Americans. You want them to forget about everything and then identifying with you as African American. You don't want them to call themselves foundational Black American, indigenous America, where it is not all of them that were enslaved from Africa. I thought we've been seeing a lot of DNAs being performed by Black Americans, where a lot of them find their roots in India and find their roots in different other countries, other continents. So I don't know why it is a very big issue to a lot of Africans. Because me, I literally do not care. Black Americans want to be identified as foundational Black Americans. Why not? How many Africans we go through what Black Americans have literally gone through and then survive it, stand out with their full chest? Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.